Yo, Grand Rising, everybody. How you doing? How are you doing? Welcome to the Live with Wildlife Religion with Coach Renz. We're going to take a little bit of a different conversation today, as we do talk about some things other than just spirituality and religion. Sometimes we got to talk about things that are going on in life today, so that people can, we can grow and live. If you find me for the first time, we usually do break down religions, but today's going to be a little bit different as we talk about BRICS. It's been requested by my audience, as well as the Maui thing with Oprah. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather because I'm having a sinus infection. Thankfully, it looks like it might. I don't know. It's this time of the year. Always this time of the year. Well, not always. Sometimes I win. Sometimes I don't. But got a little sinus going on. So excuse me if I call for a hack every now and then. Or even have to run to, because that mucus goes down. I got all my vitamins and drinking my tea and everything, but we're going to get past this. It's not going to stop the show, though. It's not going to stop the show. I hope you saw the title card. The title card we're talking about, what we're going to talk about first today is, since it's been requested for a couple of weeks, about BRICS, as well as Oprah and The Rock and their campaign for Maui. I'm probably going to have a different perspective on those things than most people. Just because I don't look at these things emotionally. So I'm trying to give that obligatory 5 minutes. Usually this is the time frame I spend lighting my cigar. But we're having the sinuses. We're not going to smoke a cigar today. We're going to sip on some tea. How you guys been out there? How was your weekend? Oh, and today, let me go ahead and look at this real quick. There will be tomorrow morning. I know I'm going to start late because I have to meet someone have to meet the Coca-Cola company to finish out a little deal with them. And in the morning of the 27th, I know I have a medical appointment at 10 o'clock. So I know we're going to be late on Wednesday. Wednesday, probably going to go to the afternoon. And then Wednesday night, me and Kevin Wesley will be on around 7:30 p.m. So a little bit of a different schedule this week. I'm going to start late, around noon probably on tomorrow. And then probably definitely around noon on Wednesday. And then again, Wednesday night with Kevin Wesley. I think that's it. Wait a minute. I don't know what my event is for. Just making up stuff. Yeah, so that's all I got. We're going to be a little bit late on those tomorrow and Wednesday. It's going to start at a later time frame. Hey, Val, how you doing? Oh, man. How's everybody doing? Woo. We're going to be on here. I'm going to go as long as I can. As long as this sinuses is going to me and this sinus can fight this thing through. Oh, and Friday, I'm going to start late as well. Very late because I got to take one of my new daughters to a doctor's appointment. So that one's going to start. So Friday will start in the afternoon as well. Yeah, so we all kind of late. This week is going to be all kind of different time. A lot of afternoon. A lot of after the 12 o'clock time frame we'll be starting this week. Thank you, Angie. Hey, Omari. So now, just like it's funny, a person that asked me to talk about something, had me talking about, please talk about the Pizzo family, and finally did, talked about the Pizzo family. And then he wasn't there. And then came back, can you talk about the Pizzo family? I was like, we did last week, Thursday. So I want to know, before we get started, if the persons who had asked about talking about BRICS, it's not BRICS, it's BRICS. If you're here, but I want that person to know if they're not here, Don't ask me to talk about something and then you not show up if you're watching this later. Can't breathe in too deep. But also, I found a lot of people having controversy over the Maui fires and Oprah and The Rock starting the People's Fund of Maui, something like that, and people being all upset. Well, what wound up happening? I went down a rabbit hole. I don't know how. I went from BRICS to Niger to, and it's not pronounced Niger, but it's Niger. From BRICS to Niger to Oprah. I don't know how all of that rabbit hole thing happened, but it did. So I figured, hell, you want to talk about BRICS? Let's talk about it. How many of you guys? What do you guys know about BRICS? Do you even care? For the people who are on here right now, do you even care about BRICS? Do you even care about Oprah and The Rock and Maui? Like, what are your initial thoughts on any of it? Or do you even know what it is as far as BRICS is concerned? Because you got Oprah and Maui fires. I'm just curious. Give me a little bit of time to see if anybody responds. Be it BRICS. What is it? BRICS. Excuse me. I did not sleep well last night. People leaving the U.S. behind to create a new standard of currency. Yep. Yes. Oh, Margaret. So we got Margaret. We got Margaret and we got Margarita. Russia, China. Yep. Uh-huh. So BRICS is a new currency that they're proposing. It's been led. Are you concerned about BRICS affecting prices here in America, in the U.S.? Oh, it's most likely will. All right, so Erica, some of you guys, Erica, y'all got some understanding of the U.S. dominated by making you fear other countries they don't want you to visit or to do business anywhere else, right? So BRICS was started around 2010. This is not new. It started around 2010, where you had Brazil. So you got Brazil, primarily back then it was Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Those 5 countries are the primary countries that started. There's other countries who are considering getting involved in BRICS, especially with some of the things going on in Niger and other African nations like the East African Federation, trying to put that together, as well as Senegal and other West African countries, West African former French nations, wanting to create their own currency, and places like Ghana wanting to go back to being backed by gold, because BRICS will be a new currency that will be traded amongst these countries, those countries that were mentioned: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And if any other country comes online, it'll be a way for them to trade amongst each other without having to involve the dollar at all, without being compared to the dollar. It'd be more compared to the yuan, the Chinese yuan, than it would be to the dollar. But they'll be able to trade that commodity, trade commodities and do transactions amongst themselves without America being able to put their nose in it, exert their influence, right? Egypt gets so much money from the U.S. Egypt, I'm not sure. I don't know if they'll join. They're kind of wishy-washy on that one because they got as much to lose as they got as much to gain. Right, the U.S. is backing their dollar on people. The BRICS dollar is backed by stronger commodities. Well, the U.S. dollar is also backed by petroleum as well. So it's not just based on people; it's also based on petroleum. You know, we are the number one country that holds the most metric tons of gold. We could easily go back to a gold standard, but the world is based on transactions, money moving hands, and natural resources. Excuse me. But what the main question that have been asked is, how will it affect the American economy? How would it devalue the dollar? Yes, it will to a certain degree. It would devalue the dollar, but more importantly, it would devalue America's financial influence on other countries. Seeing that China invests and allows them to grow while France. We're going to get to that part, Erica. I believe that it's going to hurt the dollar in this format. America won't have the financial influence or the ability of sanctions, the power of sanctioning that they normally have right now. If the country and they're losing that, when we can see that is actually happening right now, in that America is losing its influence on other countries because other countries are being supported by some of these countries that are involved in BRICS. One of the primary examples of that is that America once influenced Niger. But what you see currently happening in Niger is they're being supported by Russia. Actually, are having Russian security forces in country to assist them in making sure France doesn't attack them. I mean, yeah, America's at the border, but America is not going to storm in there. They're not storming in there. France is not storming in there. Even though the French people are calling for France to attack Niger, they're not. Why? Because you'll be attacking the Russians by attacking Niger. Many African nations are being supported militarily by China, by Russia. So it's more difficult for them to even consider doing such a thing because it has a larger ramification. Back 20 years ago, America, France would have ran up into Niger and reestablished those pipelines and continue to extract that natural gas so that they can provide gas for Europe, for European countries, and not be to a benefit to the people in Africa. But now with BRICS, with this unification, with this becoming a unified front between China, India, Russia, South Africa, and Brazil, America is already losing its influence in the place in the world where they have the most resources. So America is going to lose that influence. That's the first and most important thing that's going to lose. Now, as far as the dollar being concerned, the dollar value will change depending upon the industries we're talking about. Say, for instance, like wheat. India has already come out and said in 2030 they're not going to, unless they change their mind, they're not, after 2030, they're not going to sell their wheat to anybody outside of India, right? That is going to cause a huge strain on most countries that buy their wheat from India. But a country like America, with its size, all it has to do is go ahead and allow those farmers to farm wheat. America pays so many farmers to not farm. Damn, neck just fell off. To not grow crops. we can start up crop production pretty quick. So even though there are certain commodities that seem like is going to be a hindrance to us, I always look at America as a storehouse kind of country, in the sense that America stores up resources waiting for the world to run out so that it can then say, ha, we got this, we got that. The American dollar is not going to be hurt that much. It's not, the dollar itself is not going to be hurt that much by Brexit. There's only certain things that we really get from these other countries. Like when you look at Russia, we get a lot of our uranium from Russia. We don't get much else from Russia. We were getting wheat from India, but we can grow our own wheat. So there are still plenty of products, the products that we do get. Now, Brazil and its sugar cane, we're going to have to pay Brexit price for the sugar cane. And since the BRICS, from what I've seen, is going to be supported by gold and silver for the most part and other commodities, the sugar cane, you might see an increase in anything that involves sugar cane. But some of these people who are like, it's going to be a $55 increase across the board on every product, that's fear tactics. That's shock value kind of thing. It's only on certain industries. So yeah, what I was looking at is what is the primary thing that America buys from each one of these countries, and how would that affect, and what products that affect. So when you think about everything that uses sugarcane, it does encompass a lot of products, but how much more is going to be? Is it going to be a drastic increase? I don't think so. There'll be slight increases in certain products. America sells guns and products. And what's that other part to fix them? With the bullets, they sell them. They sell things that they leave to other countries stuff. Mm-hmm. And what we know about people don't understand what we know about other countries is control. I'm sorry, my brain is not on 10 today. It's on like a 7. But we do look to control other countries. Are Africans being exploited by outsiders or by their own elite? It's a combination of the two. What's up, Paul? It's a combination of the two. Americans and Europeans have set up puppet regimes in a lot of these African countries. And then so you got the inside people who've been set up. And then you got the outside influence, or the ones who set them up, and then there's other outside influences as well, by your so-called intelligence organizations that go in and initiate problematic things. And then there's the corporations that come in and take advantage of the people. And then even those corporations set up puppet corporations inside of those countries as well. So there's a combination of both the people who are there as well as the people on the outside. Who's to blame? Both of them are to blame. But this is where we're seeing, like in Senegal, the people are rising up against the puppet government. Same thing with Niger. People are rising up. Same thing in Guinea. People are rising up against these puppet regimes and saying, hell no, we're not doing this no more. And Guinea came back and said they supported Niger. They actually in support of the uprising in Niger, and Niger is saying that you're not going to run this gas line through our country just so that Europeans can get natural gas. And it's no benefit to us. So it's a combination. But you see, the people are rising. The people are rising up. And I think a lot of that is because of, over the last 20 years, some of the newer leadership, the new mindset that they're seeing coming out of different African countries. When you have people like Kagame, you got the president down in Botswana, for the successive presidents in Botswana who have built their own infrastructure, who decided to work with other countries, didn't have to give in to Europe or America and build their own countries. When you had the president of Ghana started to disengage from them, it's inspired African country, the people in Africa, to have new leadership, to look for new leadership, to say that we're not going to put up this bullshit no more. And, you know, and I think that's going to grow. And then with the East African Federation working towards their formation, it just lets them, you know, the people are more energized to say, we're tired of you being treated this way. And just every generation, you know, then it's just the fact that the newer generation is just like, nah, we ain't going for this. We want our freedom. We have more knowledge of the world. So since we know the world is a bigger place and what people are getting, the level of freedom that people have in other places, we deserve that freedom too. So just by having access to the world through the internet, through television, through whatever means that Africans now have, the generations are starting to say that no, there's no reason why we should still be subjugated to these European colonization rules. And so they're saying, hell no. So that's a great thing. Exactly. They want the gas, but they won't invest in the infrastructure. No, they just want to take advantage of them. Even why have traveled to these countries and pay men for sex and take your advantage up there. Yeah, they do. They have done that. I've seen men. I not only have I seen documentaries on the hell, I've seen it happen. I know some Caucasians, women who went down there just to get some. For that cough, try a whole lemon wedge and it'll help with the coughing. I will. I'll try that later. Right now, I just want my sinus to stop draining to the back of my throat. Shit's irritating. So, you know what? I appreciate y'all, because when I first said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, talk about this BRICS thing today, I said this is gonna be hard. Ain't nobody y'all not gonna be interested in it, but I'm glad y'all are. But we, I honestly, now I am not. Let me clarify, because I didn't clarify earlier. I am not a financial advisor. But BRICS is going to happen. They're going to get this currency. I don't think that there's anything that can stop it. And when you look at just the buying power of China, India, Russia, South Africa, Brazil on the left, and you put them in order, just look at that population. This BRICS will allow for the Chinese billionaires and millionaires to spend more of their money outside of China. Granted, most of it will be still spent in Russia, India, South America, and will be spent in BRICS countries, put it that way. And you have a lot more African nations that are becoming interested in joining BRICS. Those Chinese millionaires and billionaires have been limited to how much money they can spend outside of China. This will actually provide an avenue for them to spend more money outside of China, which will bolster up the other countries' economies a little bit more. It'll bring it up. It'll bring new business to these countries. Now you got two countries, that India and China, that got the most people in the world. You're looking at damn near half the population of the planet in those two countries. And when their buying power increases over the next, decade, the average person's buying power in India, in China, increases over the next decade, that's going to make that BRICS more valuable, which will make gold and silver and other commodities that it's backed under more valuable. So it wouldn't be a bad thing to invest in gold and silver over the next, 10 years. You going through the same thing, Andrea? Yeah. BRICS is more real than XRP and Bitcoin. Yeah. Talk about folks who are not getting getting their money back. Yeah, if you didn't get in Bitcoin when it first started, I would not get in Bitcoin. You're buying fractions of fractions and fractions of, and it's not backed by nothing. It's backed by people's moods. You get Elon Musk come out and say something about Bitcoin and it just crash. Then you say something else and it goes right back up. No. But just like the Ghana, they're in the process of buying more and more gold to increase their gold reserve so that they can change their money to be supported, to be backed by gold, right? So honey, cayenne pepper, and lemon. But with Ghana, countries like Ghana going back to a gold reserve, you'll see the same thing. Other countries will start going to gold reserves, and as they go back to that, which is good, because then when you're going to see inflation continue to flourish in countries like America in about 20, 30 years, inflation will keep flourishing. Those countries going back on the gold, their inflation is going to get stable. And then 20, 30 years from now, when America's inflation is soaring, you'll have a problem with the price of things in America compared to the price of things in other places and the value of your dollar. Because your dollar is just not going to be as valuable in these BRICS countries in about 20, 30 years, simply because they're going to be backed by gold, silver, other commodities, oils, gases, phosphorus, those kind of things. And your retirement may not be as safe as you think. So what's a good investment for us to make money on the whole BRICS thing? Oh man, I'm not a financial advisor. Go ahead and say that right now. Now see, in my research, I didn't go that deep. I'm being honest with you, Joe. I didn't go that deep in my research over the weekend about BRICS. And the markets are, if I was going, okay. Okay, so now you're talking about international markets and getting involved in international markets. You kind of got to know have a good beat on what's going on in some of these international markets. Or if you're looking for long-term or short-term investments, I don't really believe in short-term investments. I just play with certain stocks or certain bonds, funds, like the TQQQ and the SQQQ. I just play with those. I really can't tell you what investments to make. I can only point you in a direction, and that direction really is looking at these countries. I would see what company, like let's say you was looking at Brazil. I would look into what companies in Brazil are the top 3 companies for sugarcane, and actually the top 4 countries for sugarcane. And I would look and see if any of those, which there's always 3 top, and there's always a 4th one. The 4th one is either going to overtake a 3rd, or is going to not, or it's going to remain where it's at. If that 4th company looks like it's about to grow and overcome the 3rd, then I would invest in that 3rd company. I don't know the top 4 sugar producing companies in Brazil, but I would look those up to figure out which ones and evaluate whether or not that 4th company is going to grow, or if it's not, or if it's going to die, or it's going to stay stagnant. If it's going to stay stagnant, then I would go for the long-term investment and invest in like the 2nd tier company. I wouldn't even mess with the 3rd tier company, because you never, unless you're paying attention to when that 4th company is going to come up and supersede that one. But then you want to get involved with that fourth company that's growing right now before it gets bigger. But unless you're buying big chunks, it's not really going to make you that much money. It's like when people go buy, I own 5 shares of Tesla. Woo. That's not going to do shit for you. So let me take. So if that's like I said, that's when you're dealing with large chunks of money. Now, on a smaller end, you can find companies that derive their business based off of those industries. You go figure out those companies, those smaller companies, where the shares may be, $17 a share, $10 a share, $40 a share, where you can make inroads by putting $10,000, $12,000 into those companies and then trade them on your, put in puts and options on those companies. It would be like, where's my phone at? I need my phone for this one. So I can get into my program. See, like, you're not trying to invest in companies like Apple. Apple shares right now trading out at $175 a share. Unless you're coming to the table with $10,000, $20,000, you're not even really doing nothing. You may only make a few dollars at that, even with that amount. But where you can make money is by trading in sectors. Opportunities come to you would not be something that you have to rush into. No, you shouldn't have to rush into. Chatbot says healthcare, biotech. What's a chatbot? I'm with you, Cosmic Mama. But the thing about it is, you got to get down to the nuts and bolts of picking what companies are going to rise, unless you do it by sectors. Like this is what I use. So like on Webbull, you can, by dealing with the TQQ or the SPX or UVXY, so like I'm gonna click on FNGD. It started this morning. At $10.27, and then it dropped down to $9.86, and then it went back up to $10. So if you sold at the 10.27, then you buy back in at the 9.86, and then you just keep buying and selling all day. Now, I used to have this guy that came into my lounge. He's back over in Kuwait right now, but he would do this for about an hour, 2 hours, and he would make himself about $150. To him, he was just playing around with it until he figured it out. But he would make about $150 playing with it for about an hour or so, leveraging his money to have more. He would leverage his money so that he can buy like blocks in like 10,000 shares, and then he would buy and sell for about an hour, make sure that he got out well before the market closed, and make sure that he made no money. He make about $150. Wasn't really using too much money to do so because he was practicing. With BRICS and any kind of investment, you got to do your research to understand why these things are moving up and down. I don't want to, as you can tell, I don't want to give any financial advice like that. not to that level. Go get a financial planner right now. I don't. I'm gonna just stop. Let me stop trying to work my way around and just be straight up with it. Hand pink waving coach. Okay. Oh, but just I'm not a stock guy. I like building businesses. Uh, I'm not a stock guy. To me, you want to make some money with BRICS, go move to South Africa, go move to India, go move to China, go move to Russia, move to Brazil. Uh, go to a place where your money's going to be, where you can and figure out what business is lacking there. But I don't like giving that level of financial advice because you go in and put your money into something like SQQQ, and then if the market don't crash, like right now, SQQQ to be able to buy it at $20.29, and let's say we go into a recession, that shit'll be like $60, $70 when we go into a recession, maybe $200 when we go into a recession. And if you bought in at 20, man. And let's say you bought in and you put $1,000 into it at 20, but then your money goes up 3x, and you're $3,000. I know what the guy, I know somebody, he got 12. Last time I talked to him, he got $12,000 into SQQQ. If it goes up 5x, then he turned that to 60,000. But a recession has to happen in order for that to happen. You see what I'm saying? It has to be a good recession for that to happen. Because he's betting against the S&P. So, but let's say it doesn't happen, because he expected it to happen back in March. He expected it to happen in March, and it didn't happen. If anything, the market went up, and he actually lost some. He's lost like a little bit. He lost some money. So I'm just back out of that right now. I'm glad you understand. What I would say about emerging markets, and y'all know me, is get the hell out of here. I mean, you can you can get involved in business here in America and make some money. I'm not saying you can't, but you have a greater opportunity to go to one of these other countries in Africa, in India, and you can make way more money over there, and you are the emerging market instead of you sitting in America where you think that it's safe and trying to make some money off of being on the stock exchange. Right now, Barclays is guaranteed 4.35 on their savings account now. Some Egyptian banks are guaranteed 10 and 15%. I ain't seen that for never. 10 to 15%. The only way I know that you can get 10 to 15% is with certain banks where you your initial deposit gotta be $1 million. And you saying they're giving that on regular accounts? That's an amazing thing. Americans ain't gonna do it because they ain't gonna. It's not FDIC insured. We get fearful of it. But I would suggest y'all, as I have said many times before, take the time, set yourself up by $10,000. If you really think about it, it wouldn't take most Americans long to save up $10,000. All they have to do is cut out a lot of bullshit that we do in our life. And you can save $10,000 pretty much within 2 years. And then you take that $10,000, and you can go to a country. I was a country like Uganda. I was telling this guy, he get on my nerves. You going back in December? Oh yeah, that's right. You did just come back from Egypt. I believe you told me that. I'm jealous if that's the same person that I'm thinking about. Okay, 10K probably. But there's a guy, I was talking to him and I was telling him, look, he's one of them handyman, fix it, builder guys. Oh my god. Oh. And I just happened to be looking up and doing some research on Uganda and Rwanda, and I happened to notice that they are starting to install these solar kits, these self solar kits onto these houses. But there's a lack. There's a lack. They don't have enough people who know how to do it, who can do it, who got the money to get it. But people want to buy them. So I went on to Alibaba. I found that these solar kits cost about $200. Anywhere from $150 to $200. You can get it from Alibaba. They only require that you buy one at a time. You don't have to buy 10, 20. Most of them don't require one. So if you bought 5, 10 of those, went to Uganda, installed them for $600, $700, you only paid $200, $150, $200 for it. It only takes about 45 minutes to install the damn thing. You can install, you get 5 a day. You're making some money. Okay, I thought that was Erica. Yeah, you can make some money. You can go there and get that started, and you making some money. You can go there and start your transportation company, making some money. It ain't got to be a big. You know how like everybody in America always copy everybody in America, and so you know how like it was. I remember some years ago, it was about 10 years ago. I saw this lady with this van, and she was driving senior citizens to their doctor's appointments. Might have been 20 years ago, but she was driving people to their doctor's appointment. Then all of a sudden, 5 years later, every damn body named Mama is driving senior citizens to their doctor's appointment in these little minivans. All right. Go somewhere where they haven't started doing that yet. Like I did some research and that was one of the things I did not find. When people think about transportation, they think about trucks and big trucks and that sort of thing. But what I didn't find was that these kind of healthcare taxis. When I was looking at Rwanda, they didn't have the healthcare taxis, and I was like, maybe some of these 50 little jokers in Atlanta who all got the same business and scrambling for the same few people, take the little happy asses over there, and you be the only one, or be the first one. And then when you get there, you build and get a fleet going and stop, just copying, jumping on bandwagons and stuff. But so many businesses that we do here, like, you know how many cigar lounges there are in Tanzania and Rwanda? None. Well, there's one now in Rwanda, and there's one in Tanzania now. But a year ago, there was none. There's only one in Benin, one in Togo, 2 in Ghana. You see what I'm saying? Whereas here in Atlanta, it's freaking 40 cigar lounges. Well, cigar lounges, cigar bars, cigar clubs. There's 40 of them. Indoor places where you can smoke. So, if you want to know how to take advantage of this situation, that's what I would suggest. Go there and start a business. But it depends on what your skill set is as well. Like, I would need to know more about what you do, what your skill sets are, in order to truly say that. Now, we're also talking about your Oprah Winfrey now. So don't feel shy about that conversation. I'm sure you saw the what's that thing called? The thumbnail. All right. So, because I want to mix this conversation up. You might have 2 conversations at the same time. How many of y'all think that Oprah Winfrey and The Rock were wrong for asking people to donate to a fund to help people in Maui? How many of y'all think they were wrong? Okay. Said that she just bought 100 acres or more before the incident. They're taking the land from the native. They're insane to ask for money. Yes. Sounds scammy. Y'all ain't gonna like me in a minute. Y'all not gonna like me. All right. Now y'all know how I am about words. True, she owns about 1,000 acres of land in Maui in the right now in the upcountry, which is nowhere near where the fires took place. It's nowhere near that. It's like on the other side of the island. Now, what else did you say? They're taking lands from the native. From everything that I was able to research, she bought land that was going to be developed by builders into condos, and yet she's buying it and she's not, and she bought it and she's not going to develop it into condos at all, and she's keeping it as more natural and hired those people to hiring and has hired natives to keep the land in its natural state. So would you rather developers came and bought it and built condos on it, condos that the natives can't afford to live in? Because that's who was getting ready to buy that land. Now, they are asking for money. They initially started the fund with $10 million of their own money. I know they can afford to give more money, of course. Oprah Winfrey could give, well, here's the thing. We don't know how liquid Oprah is, and we don't know how liquid The Rock is. The Rock said his estimated net worth is only $270 million. Net worth. That doesn't mean he has $270 million liquid. He probably he's far, far less than that liquid. So 10 million might be a lot for The Rock. And Erica going in. They also, Oprah is worth $1 billion, but she ain't got a liquid billion. She ain't got a liquid billion. So, but they did start with 10 million of their own money. And they could, and I'm pretty sure they're asking some, I don't know, they might be asking some of the other rich people to donate as well. But why they asked when these rich folks were coming on asking people to donate to the starving children in Africa, come donate to the Ukraine, donate for Indonesia and all of that stuff. Why nobody had all this vitriol for them when them white folks when Caucasians was asking us to donate to Indonesia, asking regular people to do that, but we want to get mad at the two black people as if they're responsible for the whole thing. And people want to go with the conspiracy that maybe they set the fire. Why their houses didn't burn? Because their house ain't nowhere near where the shit's at. It's on the other side of the island, for one. And maybe they're interested in it because that's where they live. That's like Oprah. I read previous articles from years prior where Oprah was saying that this was her home away from home. This is like where she'd rather be. Like she wanted to retire there. She was gonna build a big ass mansion, but she just loved that the smaller farmhouse on there, and she just wanted to keep it that way. So, and this is years ago articles back in like 2018 and 2016. So this is long before this stuff was happening. So I'm just saying, I don't think there's a big conspiracy for them to do that. I don't think that she's now buying land. Land comes up for sale. What if she didn't? If she didn't buy it and other people bought it and developed it, what, y'all gonna be mad at them? Would you be mad at a company for coming to that? Would you be mad at Marriott if they came and bought that land? But we get mad at Oprah for buying it? I don't understand the logic in that. They don't care about Maui rebuilding for real. They will probably keep their kidnapped kids. Goddamn. Okay, Eric. What people y'all talking about kidnap? People got burnt on that Ukraine money. What? I didn't know people got burnt on some Ukraine money. Oh, you saying the fire was started by microwave? It's not unreasonable that rich people do scammy things for profit, but everything that a rich person does doesn't have to be scammy. Marriott doesn't have a face. That's it right there. Let me tell you something that pisses me off to the highest levels of pistivity. And this is probably why I'm a little bit biased in this situation. I will admit I'm a little bit biased in this situation. People, because they can come and see me and they see my face, they show up to the popcorn shop or they show up to the cigar lounge and they think they have a higher level of rights to be able to say to me whatever they want to say, to be able to whine and complain more, to expect extra treatment, all these things. And then if I don't give it to them, they ass will leave and dog me out and talk shit and just be all black people just trying to run business and all this other kind of stuff. But they'll go through the drive-thru at McDonald's and get fucked over every month. And they keep going. They don't complain. They don't send the letter up. They don't do anything. They don't go around telling their friends, or if they do, they all like, yeah, they will mess you up in the drive-thru. And then their asses all go back. They'll go get treated like crap in Walmart, Publix, Kroger, all this shit. But because you can see my face and you have direct contact with me, people feel like they have power to say some shit and do some shit and go into a certain mindset. I know it's part of the game, but Skybox, I can never take you serious. I expect the free cigar. I'm leaving a bad Yelp review. But people act that way, and that irritates the shit out of me. Big nameless corporation goes in and buys land in Hawaii, and nobody says anything. Nobody is like all this rich scamming people. But no conspiracies, none of that sort of thing. Oprah and The Rock come out and say, hey, we started a whole fund to help these people. We put 10 million of our own dollars in it. And every conspiracy theory thing just comes right out the gate with no proof. And that's the thing about it. There's no proof. Now, if there's come some proof, okay, we got something to go with. But there's no proof. True, but rich people don't tend to be charitable people. Are you serious? Come on, man. If it wasn't for rich people, you wouldn't have none of your HBCUs for the most part. I mean, think about it. There's rich people. The biggest HBCUs in this country were started by rich white people. You would now understand. Rich people realize that through charitable organizations, they can pay less money in taxes, and they can also launder and hide some of their wealth. But they still have to provide a charitable arm in order to do that. But that's business. But no, rich people don't stay rich if they give all their money away. Who would do that? You wouldn't do it either. Oh yeah, Andrea, festivity to the highest levels of festivity. So how many charities they got in Haiti? Nearly 100 celebrities got charities in Haiti. Have you ever met a person from Haiti and said, thank you for the Clintons? Oh, I agree. Now, are these charities doing what they're supposed to do? No, most of them tax write-off. Most of them are tax write-off. We used to get the combined federal campaign. When my last years in the military, we got the combined federal campaign, little charity thing. And it would tell you, like, I don't know about this Haiti charity for the Clintons, but it would tell you like what percentage of the money actually goes to what the charity is about. And I'm going to tell you, it's like all the big ass charities and all those well-known rich people charities, them shits was hitting in like 0.5%, 1%, 0.9%, 0.8%. Long as I think it is something like long as 0.5% of the money goes to the actual charity, you can maintain your 501c3. So I'm with you in the fact that a lot of the money in most of these charities don't go and do what they're supposed to do, and people keep on doing it. As much money has went to Susan G. Komen, shit, somebody should have cured breast cancer by now. Somebody should have cured some form of cancer. As much money as Susan G. Komen has raised. Between Susan G. Komen, the American Cancer Society, at least one form of cancer should have been cured by now. But it hasn't. And it's never going to be. They will just make it so that you can live longer with it. But it's never going to be. The CEO of the American Cancer Society, 10 years ago, his annual salary was like $5.5 million. $5.5 million. And granted, he is running a massive operation. But I'm just amazed. It just irritates me, I guess. When we got to have proof before we go at somebody, before we say, oh, okay, The Rock and Oprah, they just going to squander this money. They're going to try to hide this money, use this money for themselves or whatever. It hadn't even happened yet. Now, I don't know what happened with the Ukraine stuff because I wasn't paying attention to that because, that's Caucasian on Caucasian crime. So I didn't care. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't like the fact that we was, if people want to give money to it, that's your own stupidity. I didn't like that. The government was giving money to it. That was bullshit. Brian's charity for brain cancer went for trips and fun activities. Then the rest donated to the college football team. I wouldn't doubt it. But we gotta get proof though. I understand how Oprah she's buying up land. But I have to go and look up why was she buying this land? Who was also competing to buy this land? And it was corporations that wanted to build condos that was trying to buy the land that she bought. But she has not kept it that way. Now, you can look at it a little bit different on there. You could say that, well, if you let the other companies build the condos, then that would have provided more jobs than the jobs that Oprah provided by her buying up the land and trying to keep it keep it in its natural state. That doesn't require as many people as it would be as it will require for people to work at the condominiums, the construction companies. So you can say that she actually um, hurt the economy in a sense by not allowing the other company to buy it, which would have provided more jobs. So you can go that route. Um, but like somebody said earlier, is there really right or wrong? You know, with her buying that land, because it's not like the native people were able to buy that land; they didn't have the money to buy it. So what are you gonna do? You know, you got to have a solution. Otherwise, it doesn't work for anybody. But you do. I'm sorry. I brought up charity. Oh, and my brain just. I don't even know. Like, can I say something? Let's see. Let me think that through. Because y'all didn't know I'm being sued. Somebody sued me because I said that I had a bad vibe when I first met them, and now they put me in part of a lawsuit that they suing somebody else. But I said I had a bad vibe, and I kind of just like stayed away from the person, and then they got mad because I wouldn't drive them around Atlanta to look for a house when they was down here. So I'm being sued. And the original suit is about a charity. That's why I'm laughing and it's connected because I wasn't even a part of it. But then I was like, I had a bad vibe about that person, and they wanted me to drive them around the city, and I was like, nope, can't do it. And so I'm part of a lawsuit. That's the kind of country we live in. That's the kind of mentality people have. That ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. It just came in my head because we was talking about charity, and that the lawsuit is over a charity that I wasn't even a part of. I got roped into some bullshit. But anyway. Um, what else, y'all? We can talk about anything. We've talked about this for an hour. We can talk about anything that you guys want to talk about now. I do think that BRICS is going to make more opportunity for. I think more and more African countries are going to join BRICS. There's already a litany of African countries that are interested in joining BRICS. I always call it Brexit because it sounds like bricks, like when they was, what I'm talking about, Brexit. But BRICS, there's more and more African countries that are looking to join BRICS. I think more South American countries are going to look to join it as well, and then Southwest Asian countries will probably join BRICS as well. So if you are planning to go to any of those countries, then you might want to hop your ass and start getting your stuff ready. Start getting ready right now to go. Someone lost $1 million on NFTs. Yeah, I never wanted. I saw people jump into these fads real quick. You just have to call me late on some of them. Some things you got to know when to jump onto something and when not to. NFTs came out. I went and I looked at how it all works and functions, and I was like, no, there's no stability in this, and then it doesn't make sense. Anything that's like all economies are emotionally based to a certain degree. But that's what you got to understand. To what degree is this emotionally based, and what degree is it based on other realities? You heard anything about Bitcoin loses for freezes? Mm-mm. No, I did not. But when it comes to these things like Bitcoin and all that, I just play with it. Like I don't even play with more than like couple $1,000s. I don't even play with it. And my daughter, she's an artist, and she thought about, I told her about, when I first told her about NFTs, she broke down to me how NFTs work and her artwork, and I was like, yeah, no, let's leave that alone. Mm-mm. But no. So I don't mess with that. I need to deal with real money, real transactions, real products. Yeah, somebody they couldn't get their money out at 10K in and could see that's that bullshit. That doesn't work for me. You know what works for me? Here's a pen. You want to buy it? Fine. Give me $10. All right, $10. Bam. Give me the pen. Got me $10. We good. Easy. Oh, you need a service from me? You sign up. I'm coaching you. We have our session. You pay your money. Well, you pay your money. We have our. You do your onboarding. We pay. We do the session. Services rendered. Good to go. I will not sit here and be like, oh, okay, I bet I'm going to put money and say, well, no, I don't mind investing in other people. If somebody got a good business and it's transactional, okay, you can get down on that. No. But this speculative shit, no. Buy some land, got a house on it, rent the house or flip the house. Bet. I did not even say anything. I said, oh, wow, what can you say to people? Just let them do what they do. Yeah, and you can't say that. But, like, I'm researching different tax lien properties this week. You buy the tax lien. The person got a year to pay you back your money. In Georgia, a year to pay your money plus 20%. They don't pay it. You pay that following year taxes. You pay the money to get the title transfer over, title work into your name, and now you own this property. And then you can, if it's a house on it, you can rent it. If it's not a house, you get a construction loan. You might build a couple of townhouses on it. You sell them, you know what I'm saying? It makes real transactions that makes money like right then and there. I can't do this stock thing. And Christian says he's been buying gold and silver for the last 8 years. And I have a cousin. She buys gold and silver. She's been trying to get me to buy more gold and silver. It's not my thing. It's her thing. It's Christian's thing. And that's cool. Gold and silver, real things that have real value. Because I don't know what price you bought it at, but you can't take away the value from that. It's a tangible asset. Exactly. That's the magic word. Tangible asset. Tangible. That's why when I buy these tax liens, it's a tangible asset. And I won't have to. Now, you can always lose. There's no guarantees of anything in life. I could buy a house, buy a tax lien property, and because you can't go inside of it, the whole foundation could be messed up. But that's what you got to do. You got to do. There's certain levels of research that I can do to see. Because I will break in. I ain't gonna lie. I go on record right now and tell you, I'd be damned if I ain't gonna go inside the houses before I'm out. I will break in. Crawl through a window or something. I'm gonna find a way to get in there and check that foundation. That's the main thing I want to make sure. Foundation good, all right, we good. And the rest of it can be jacked up. But there's other parts to that process as well. But anyway, the point is, you want to be tangible assets is what you should look to invest in. We get caught up in BRICS, and most of the time we think about things like BRICS and stuff like that. as we're thinking about it from a consumer perspective, we're not thinking about it really from an investor perspective. People will say it, but they're not. Because more people are going to be worried about, is it going to cost me more to live my life that I'm currently living? That's all they really want to know. Is it going to cost me more? When I go to the store, is a loaf of bread still going to cost, how much does that loaf of bread cost? $3? $3. I don't know if a loaf of bread costs $3, but you know what I mean. That's what they want to know. Is a loaf of bread going to cost me $3? Just like people losing their shit because eggs start costing $5. I think it was costing $5, $6, $8, whatever eggs were costing. So that's what people are concerned about. Oh, God. Like I said, I didn't sleep that well last night. But I do think that I am going to call it a day, y'all. My head is foggy, and there are a few videos I want to make before my regular conversation, before I go and take a nap, because I'm going to take a nap today. Yep, I think a nap is coming. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here today. This has not been a great one, but we'll be back to our greatness tomorrow. So y'all have a great day. And remember, always, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. And remember, tomorrow we're going to be starting a little bit later. Did I say that for tomorrow? Yeah, next few days. Yeah, tomorrow we're starting a little bit later because I got to go meet those people. And then we'll start later on. I got a demo appointment on Wednesday. And then Wednesday night, me and Kevin are doing the show together. And then Friday morning, I got to run my new daughter to the doctor's office. So, gonna be starting late. Yeah, I'm gonna get some rest, recharge, get myself together. All right, y'all have a great one.